Was there for a night. It was like, okay, there was a courtyard, there was like a bunch of guest rooms, there was a pool.
You go to a lot of like there are a lot of private, like you're going to fancy random people's islands like frequently.
Wait, did you hear that? That's the co-founder of LinkedIn casually describing the guest rooms and the pool on Jeffrey Epstein's private island. Everyone is talking about the list, but nobody is talking about how deep these Silicon Valley connections actually go. We need to look at the emails the media is ignoring.
A lot of like there are a lot of private, like you're going to fancy random people's islands like frequently, or like how unusual?
Well, that was the first time I've gone to an island. I've gone to a couple since that.
Did you catch his body language there? He's trying to play it off as an academic fundraising trip for MIT, but then he slips up and mentions he's been to several other private islands since then. It feels like he's trying to normalize something that is anything but normal. If you look closely at the interview, he mentions he only went because he was told Epstein would be more likely to give money if he visited in person. That is a massive red flag. Why would a billionaire like Hoffman need to audition for Epstein's donations? It suggests a level of influence Epstein held over the tech elite that we are only just beginning to uncover. Notice how the interviewer pushes him on how unusual this is, and Hoffman just stares off for a second. That's the look of someone realizing the paper trail is much longer than they previously admitted. This isn't just about one trip. It's about the entire social fabric of the 1%.
I think part of why Kamala's getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public.
Yes.
And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Yeah. Do you think Reid Hoffman's uncomfortable?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Gates.
And Gates. Ask that because you can sort of, you just look at them and you're like, that's a nervous person right there. I don't know. I mean, I assume you know them. Yeah.
Yes. Reid Hoffman was my vice president of business development at PayPal.
Yeah.
24 years ago.
Does he seem nervous to you?
Yeah, I mean, he's terrified of a Trump victory.
Because of the disclosure that would follow?
I think, yeah, I mean, I think he's certainly ideologically not aligned with Trump anyway, but I think he is concerned about the Epstein situation.
Elon isn't holding back here. He's essentially saying that the panic we see in certain political circles isn't about policy. It's about the Epstein client list finally becoming public. Look at Tucker's face when Elon mentions that Hoffman was actually his VP of business development at PayPal 24 years ago. There is a deep, decades-long history here. When Elon says Hoffman is terrified of a Trump victory specifically because of the disclosure that would follow, it reframes every lawsuit Hoffman has funded recently. He's not just a political donor. He's a man with a massive vested interest in making sure the current DOJ stays exactly the way it is. It makes you wonder, if the files are as explosive as Elon suggests, how many other household names in tech are currently losing sleep? The way Elon smirks suggests he knows exactly what's in those unredacted folders.
Making the connection to Mark Zuckerberg, the subject of the email says introductions. He literally sucked all of his friends into Epstein's orbit. Jeffrey Epstein replying, "Thank you for dinner, Reid. The first draft and the pen. I really appreciate the kind gesture and your friendship. Can you give me Mark's email?" Mark Benioff, likely from Salesforce. I suggested to him, and you should also join. The last week in September is full of interesting people in New York, as it is the opening of the UN General Assembly and the Clinton Global Initiative. World leaders, finance ministers, fun dinners, and lunches. So I'll be at the ranch for the rest of the month. Come whenever you want.
This is the smoking gun email the mainstream news won't show you. Look at the subject line. Intros. Reid Hoffman is literally acting as the gatekeeper, introducing Epstein to Mark Zuckerberg and Peter Thiel. But check out the middle paragraph. They're talking about the Clinton Global Initiative and meeting world leaders and finance ministers. This proves Epstein wasn't some social pariah. He was the central hub for the most powerful people in the world. Hoffman even asks for Mark's email to keep the conversation going. It's a tight-knit circle. When you see names like Zuckerberg and Gates popping up in these logs, it's not just a handful of interactions like Hoffman claimed in that first clip. This was a coordinated effort to bring Epstein into the highest levels of Silicon Valley's inner sanctum. The logistics they're discussing, private jets to St. Thomas, dinners in New York, it's a lifestyle, not a business meeting. Look at the journalists' faces in the background when Trump drops Hoffman's name. This was years ago, and Trump was already pointing to Hoffman as a rich guy who was funding radical movements. It's wild to see this full circle moment now that the Epstein documents are actually hitting the public record. Trump calls them professional agitators, and when you look at how much money Hoffman has poured into specific lawsuits against Trump, the motive becomes much clearer. It's a high-stakes game of survival. If the list comes out, the agitators lose everything. This is why the energy in this election feels so different. It's not just a campaign. For some of these guys, it's a race against a subpoena. Did you notice how Trump pauses right after saying the name? He knew then what we're all just finding out now. The files are coming out and we're digging through every page. Hit follow to see the next name we find.